Okay, so the class is being recorded and then we can start. Okay, so we'll try as much as possible to make it simple, really very simple, at least for our starting ups, so that it
I got it. Deborah, we can't hear you. Can you please unmute? I can't. Let me be on my side.
So sorry, I thought I was not muted. I was just talking to myself. Thank you for letting us know on time. So I was saying that it's going to be as basic as possible, at least for this our first class. What is Power BI? We've had a session sometime a few months back, but not many of us were there at the time. So this is a good time to do a quick catch up, and then we can dive into the Power BI desktop itself. But let's learn about what it is so that we have a grounding knowledge on it of it. You know, it's a collection of software services, apps, and connectors. What does that mean? So all these come together, work together, either in related or unrelated sources of data, and they just make everything interactive to give us insights into what our data is talking about. For business decisions, for many other decisions, maybe you just want to look at trends of how things have gone over time so that you can use it to predict what might happen in the future. The best way to do it is using a powerful tool like Power BI. Just a minute, my thing is not. Okay. Now, for our lesson one, for this lesson, is mostly going to be about introduction, who uses it, how and why, and a general overview. We'll look at the interface, all the buttons, what they do, and then we'll start by connecting to different data sources that I have used before. We'll talk briefly about the ones that I haven't used, but the ones that I've used, I know how to use, will get introduced to it. And this is the plan for going forward. Lesson 2 would be all of this data preparation, how to clean data and shape it, how to use the query editor, and how to add more columns and measures into what all of that means. We will see as we go forward. But I just want to give us a very good overview of what to expect, in weeks to come as we come together once a week, anytime we can. How does Power BI work, or what is the workflow? It starts with you getting data and cleaning the data from different sources. It could be Excel, as we will see. It could be SQL database. It could be from a folder or just a file. It could even be from the web. There's so many sources that we can, get data from. And then it moves on to the next one, which is modeling, how we shape those tables, those different tables to have relationship. Data modeling talks about the relationship between different tables, in a company's database. And then we move on to visualize, to use different charts and different, visuals to represent our data. And in so doing, some analysis would occur, and then we can create a report according to the business requirement that we are given, after which we can then share the data. So this is how the workflow, goes in Power BI. So overall, it's a powerful tool that can help businesses or analysts, business analysts or data analysts, whichever analyst you are, to gain insights and make data-driven decisions that can help businesses to succeed. Now, components of Power BI. In the chat, I've dropped the link to get Power BI Desktop. You can get your Power BI Desktop just using your email, your Yahoo email or Gmail, whichever email you've got. Power BI Desktop will let you, get it. Then we've got the Power BI service, which we will talk about more towards the end. It's more of a cloud-based, Power BI component. The desktop is the one that you have on your local machine, that your laptop that you work with. After doing the work, where you publish it to is the Power BI service. The mobile is just for viewing, if CEOs or business decision makers on the go, they can, be connected by just looking at what has been sent, and they can just view on their mobile. Now, Power BI Gateway is the link. You know how I said you've got your desktop on your local machine, and the Power BI service mobile are cloud-based. So there's something that would need to connect, between your Power BI desktop and the cloud, and that is what we call the gateway. And the Power BI report server, which I only just heard about while I was, preparing this. And this is what it says it is, that it's an on-premises solution that allows users to host and share Power BI reports. So it's mostly for sharing, for hosting within an organization. So if an organization does not want to be part of, this service, this cloud-based one, they just want to have their own within which they can share as an organization, Power BI report server is what they would go for. That is new knowledge for me, but it was nice to learn something new there. Now, the vision is for us to take something that looks like just tables and columns and rows and build them into, charts, different charts that would speak some language to us, that will give us some insight. And that is what this slide is about. And that is just a very quick overview. I don't want to do too much talking. I have already said that let's have questions at the end. But is there any question at this point before we actually start? I'll take that as a no. So let's start. So when you use that link, what you would have is, let me open a new one, fresh page. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is what I want to see. So after you have downloaded your Power BI desktop, you've signed in, and then you got your Power BI desktop, the app of it. Now, this is what the app looks like. If you can see my cursor, this is it at the bottom, this yellow one at the bottom here. That is what it looks like. And then you have this, it could be yellow for some people. Mine is green background, which is very useful. I mean, but what I do, immediately I come here and I see this, I just close it, because everything you have here, you can get from the Power BI itself. I don't necessarily need this. But for the sake of learning, everyone is not me. Let's see what all of this is about. So this is just an introduction, welcome. With my name, I signed up, so it's recognized me there. Now, get data. It's telling me, do I want to get data from here? Have I used any recent sources before? I did, because I opened some of my Power BI works up, and it's showing me all those recent ones that I have opened. Do I want to open any other reports, So that is generally what this is. You want to connect to their forums, or, I mean, what's new? You want to take a look at what's been improved, and they are constantly updating, upgrading, you know, Power BI. So what's new in this month? You want to listen to or read through their news. That is what that does. So different things to look at here. You want to learn getting started with Power BI desktop. The good thing is they also have a lot of resources for learning. You know, I've not gone through any of their one before, but I'm hoping to be able to do so when I've got some time on my hands. It would be nice to see how to look at things from their own point of view as well. Okay, now here we are. This is what it looks like. You open it up, it brings you that which we just closed, and now here we are. This is the Power BI desktop.
Hello, sorry to cut in.
What screen are you at?
Yeah, the screen we're actually seeing here is just like
Is the question mark?
It's a question mark.
Oh,
Please.
I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so
I thought
sorry.
I was lost.
I was lost too.
Thank you for.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me stop the share. It should have shown my entire screen when I shared, so that anywhere I move to, it just entire screen. It's not giving me the option. It should just okay. I'll have that. Bear that in mind, and each time I come off a page, and so this is where you should be seeing now. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Okay, so you didn't see all of those, whatever it was I closed. You didn't see any of that?
No, not at all.
Okay. So it means I'm going to start again. Let's start again. Okay. So I'm just has stopped. Why is it stopped? Screen sharing has stopped as the shared window closed. I don't know why it's stopping. This thing should not mess our class up today or what? Okay. I'm just gonna close. No, don't leave the meeting. I'll close all the things I'm not using. Let's see if that helps. You see, when I share the screen, normally it should give me the option to share the whole window, but it's only giving me the option of sharing each page. Okay. Let me just share. Where's the Zoom? Okay, let me share here. Can we see this?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. This is where we download the Power BI desktop. You just click on your download there. Click on, you see the on-screen instruction. Just fill in your details and then you get it. I don't want to click it because I've already got it. Okay. So I know that if I open this, it's going to go off again. I don't see how to stop that, from happening, which is sad. Okay. Can you still see this?
Yes, we are the
Hallelujah. It seems something is happening. Okay. So when you have downloaded, you get this. This is the Power BI. You download it, you open it, and this is what opens up. This is the logo of it here. If you can see my cursor, I'm just bringing my cursor down to the yellow, these 3 yellow bars here. That is the logo of it there. So we are on the empty report page now. The Canva page is what we call here. This is where all the charts are brought in. If I clicked on, okay, I need a chart now. This is the Canva, where like an artist, you draw everything that needs to be drawn. And your charts, they can be moved around. Okay. And the button that brings us here is this button here, this bar bar chart button here. This is the button. So if I click on here, because we are on the page that it controls anyway, it brings us here. Now the next page is the data page. If I click on here, if we had brought in any data at all, any tables or Excel worksheet or anything, this is where we would have seen them. So this is the data page. And then we've got this model. Now, what the model does is shows us the relationship between all the data that we bring in, if they have any relationship at all. So these three, normally, fondly, I call them the three wise men. You know, they are just sitting in their corner there. And then we've got the file, like every other Microsoft product file. You know, the new, if I wanted to open a new report, open an old one, or open a new blank page, you know, if I wanted to, you know, open my settings to just change up things there, this is where I you know, conform this to what I really want. Data load, usage data, whatever it is that you want here. It's really, it would be nice to, you know, go in there and explore and try to understand more. This is the home page where we are. If I wanted to insert anything at all, maybe text box, if I wanted to type, you know, whatever in here, that is the text box to use. If I wanted to insert any button or any arrow or anything at all, like any insert button, that is what that does. But more than anything, what we want to concentrate on today is the first step of the workflow, which is the get data. How we bring data in from any of our data sources is the get data. And we've got all these data sources, different data sources. If your work source or data source is from Excel workbook, we click on here, and then we can search it up from, you know, any of the things here. You know, I'll cancel that for a minute. Or if I don't want to use this, I can just go in there and get data from straight away from Excel. If I want it from Power BI data set, I get it from there. If I want it from an SQL server, I get it from there. Let's try and explore a bit of this. Let's say I've got, let's start with Excel first. It's always the really popular one. So there's something called the Northwind, okay. So because I clicked on Excel, all the files that it would bring here, it would want me to bring in would be just the Excel files. So I'll bring anyone in just for the sake of practicing. And we see these are all the different pages on that Excel workbook. I can click on them to have a preview of what they look like. Okay, my table one, because that's what I named it. Let's see what it has. If it's what I want, I'll just load and transfer, or load it or transform the data. Okay, if I wanted this now, I'll just check that box. You see, before I checked the box, these were faded out. They were unclickable. But if I check that I want table one, it's giving me the option of, can we still, okay, we can still see this. So it's giving me the option of load it or transform it. What does that mean? Load it means bring it straight away into Power BI, which means I'm happy with what this data looks like. This is exactly what I wanted to use it for. It already satisfies everything that I want. I don't want to make any changes to it. Then I'll click on load, just bring it straight in. But if I'm thinking, oh, when I look through, I don't want all these nulls. Or for my business requirement, I don't want anything address. I don't need address. I don't need ship name. I don't need, so if any change at all that I need to do here, what I'll click on is transform data. And because I've clicked on transform data, it has brought it into something we call a Power Query editor. Now, I'm just going to put my cursor here so that we can see. Now, this here was what we were working with. We went to get data. We got the Excel. And now we said transform data. And it has opened up 2 different pages for us. So the Power Query editor that it has brought it into is opened as another page. So it's like I've gone a little bit outside to do the cleaning job of this data before I then bring it in for analysis. That's exactly what it's looking like. For those of us that are very used to Excel, Excel has this Power Query editor as well. And if you are very conversant with Excel Power Query editor, you would not find this any hard to do at all. Now let's have a look at what we can do here. It's telling me this preview may be up to 290 days old, which is true. Do I want to refresh it? If that's what I want to do, I'll click on refresh, but if not, I can just close that out. Have a look at this formula box here. It's got a formula there, and it's written in a language called the M language or mashup language. That is the language that this Power Query or Power BI understands. It's called M language or mashup language. Why it's called that, I'm not very sure about, But again, one thing we'll notice is that when we brought it into, we have table 1 here. I don't know what table 1 is. It can be quite confusing. I could just have a look and see what is table 1. What does this table really talk about? Employees, customers, shippers names. I can just decide, okay, let me give it a better name than table 1. Okay. So maybe I want to call it information table or data. I want to call it data. So what I just did there is that I double clicked and just changed that to data. And I'm, just pressing enter. I can either do that here. If you will look at the right-hand side as well. If I don't want to do it here, I can come here, click on here and say, okay, no, it's data 2. So I can change it here, press enter. And if you look at the left-hand side as well, again, that has been changed to data 2. So there's always different ways to do the same thing within the Power BI network, such that whichever way is your preference, just know as many ways as possible and choose the ones that you want to be very comfortable with. Had it been that I was finished with this, under file here, we have close and apply. If I'm done, I don't have any more thing to do. The cleaning is done. I'm happy with what my data looks like. Then I want to bring it back into Power BI. All I'll do is close. Click on that down arrow button, the down arrow button, and come here and do close and apply. So this will close the Power Query editor, which we'll see when we are done with this data, and bring it into Power BI itself. Okay, but we are not ready for that yet. Then we see new source. If this is not the only data that I want to bring in, I've got more to bring in. I can always come here, just like the get data that we had in Power BI. I can always get here, come here and get more, I can get from SQL Server, which we'll see how to do that in a minute as well. I can decide to get from analysis services, text or CSV. If it's a comma separated file, I can get it. If I've got a web address that I want to get it from, I can, and we'll see that as well. There's something called OData feed, a blank query. If none of it is there, I just click on more, and it will bring more data sources. When I clicked on more, it brought more data sources. It can be SharePoint, it can be folder, any folder at all. We'll see how to get it from folder as well as we progress within here. So there's a lot. The list is it just keeps. It could be Salesforce for those who use Salesforce. But I don't want to get any new data right now. I was just showing us that. Or recent sources. If I want to go back to where I got this from, maybe you see it was the first one there, not when, which this is where we got this data to page from. We can just go back and say, okay, I need more. I want more than just table one that I got. I also want, I also want customers. I also want employees. I also want orders. Whatever I want, I can always bring it in. So I'm bringing all of that in, and it has brought all of them in. So if you look at the left-hand side here, this was the first we brought in. It brought more in, customers, employees, orders, and all of that. I'm going to close this. It's not relevant right now, And then if we look at the right-hand side where it says applied steps, because Power Query doesn't have the undo button, but it's got what we call applied steps, where every step that we do on here, every operation that is performed on here, it is all recorded. Sometimes the things the operations it has done automatically that we didn't do, it will record them as well. All we did was we brought it from the source, So I clicked on there to look at what happened at the source. We brought this in from something called Northwind. If you look at the formula up there, it says equals excel.workbook. This was brought in from an Excel workbook. From a file, from my C drive, it's in my OneDrive, in my documents, and that's the name of it. And then we have all of that. It's true. That is how to read the M language. Again, we'll dwell more on M language maybe in the next class when we do more of data transformation. Today, I just want us to focus more on how we get data from many sources. But that doesn't mean we can't, touch on other aspects of Power BI as we move along on. And then after bringing it from the source, it's got navigation. Okay, what happened in navigation? Okay, you look at this. We didn't see this, but when it brought this table, this particular table that we're on, when it brought it in, look at what the headers were looking like. Instead of having in my Excel workbook, this other ID, which it has made row one, is my header. Employee full name is supposed to be where column 2 is. Title is supposed to be. So these things happen with data, but it has automatically promoted headers for us. How did it do that? Let's look at promote headers here. It's brought those headers up, but let's look at the formula that was used. I just clicked on this. Okay, cancel. I'm just gonna click on the promoted headers. Let's see what was done. Use first rows as header. There's a function here which we will see called use first rows as headers. So it's promoted all of the row ones to first row. It's one of the functions. I wish it had allowed us to do that. Before now, when I first started learning this, it's something you would have done by yourself. But as more updates come onto Power BI, it becomes really more automated, that it just does things for you. And then it says change type. There's a kind of, it's changed the type of data. What does change type mean? Okay, now that it's promoted our headers, look at this, like this 1, 2, 3 here. These are called data types. So what Power BI or Power Query Editor does, it will look at your data and look at the type of data that is there and try to predict, okay, these are figures. It's 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to click on this 1, 2, 3. Okay, now these are the different types of data. Is it decimal number? Is it fixed whole number, fixed decimal number, money, whole number, or are they percentages, or is it dates, time, or dates? You know, all of these, or is it just a Boolean, true, false, or ordinary text, or using local? That's something else now. So it will try to predict what that data type is, and you know, put it there for you. Because if it doesn't recognize your data type, let's say this was forced to be a text and it's supposed to be in figures. If at the end of the day you want to sum it up, there will be error, because it's not going to sum up something that is in the form of a text. It wants to see that as a number, anything aggregate. If not, it will just count it. The best it can do for anything that is in text format is just count it up for you. You know, if I wanted to do any form of maths on this employee full name, because it's in text, it can only count it for me. It cannot do summing up or division or anything like that, you know. So, and that's what we see as product ID, seen as it as number. This is seen as text. Product name is seen as text as well. And that is what all these little ABCs or whatever it is. I wish there was a date table somewhere so that we'll see what. Now, all of this means there's problem with these columns. What do I do if I don't want to see any column? I don't need any of these columns to come in with me. You know, all I just need to do is whichever the column it is, I'll click on it. And I can right click. Let's go back. I just clicked on that on here. So it's picked all of that data, all of that column from the top to the bottom. And then I'm right clicking. And then I can say remove it. If this is the only one I want to remove, I say remove it. If I want only this column and I want to delete every other columns here, I say remove other columns. Let's try. So I'm removing this. And that is gone. But now I see that it's a mistake. I really don't want to remove it. I just come back to my applied steps here and undo that. So that's the way to undo in Power Query. We don't have that undo button that we are very used to. That's normally here. Okay. If I had done remove other columns, so it leaves this one and it removes every other column for me. But I don't want that to happen right now, so I'll undo that. Let's look at this, what can I call it? This logo that looks like an Excel worksheet. Let's look at what it says. We've got all these buttons. Copy entire table. Use first row as headers. So had it been that that's part that it did for us, we needed to do it by ourselves. This is where to find it. I would have just have said, use first row as headers, and it would have done it for me here. And a whole host of other functions. If I wanted to keep top rows, remove top rows, whatever it is I want to do, it would help me to do it here. Okay. I don't want us to dwell too much on working on this particular work just yet. Let us look at other ways. We've just used Excel. Let us look at other ways that data can be gotten into Power BI. I don't want to use recent sources because I want something new now. What if I wanted a folder? Okay, it's a whole folder I want to bring in. Is there anything folder here? No. Okay, let me click on more. Let's see if we'll get the option of more. Okay, here we go. There's folder. So I click on folder and I click on connect. Okay, it's done something different from what we had before now. It's asking me for the folder path. How do I get folder path? Okay, let me see if there's a folder on here that I can quickly borrow. Okay, So if I was going to bring this folder in, let's say DAX resources, so I've just clicked on this folder because I want to bring it in, and I'm right-clicking it now. The options here, I've got copy as path. So I need to copy the path of this. Okay, now I don't need that anymore. I can now come back here. I've copied that and I can paste here. I've pasted, but there's an error. This means it's not agreeing with something. What do I need to remove? Most of the time you don't get this, but because I've gotten this error before, I just know that it's wanting me to remove those quotation marks around this. Okay, so this is fine now. It's happy with this. I just need to click OK, and bring that in. Whatever it is I want to do. Do I want to combine all of these four, or all of these, however many they are, and transform? Do I just want to transform, or do I want to cancel this because I don't need this anymore? Okay, so that is now your decision to make. Okay, if I want to combine and transform the data, I'll do combine and transform. So it's connecting. It says, please wait while, okay. Please wait a while was what I had there before, but here we come. It's brought us to that navigation view again. And let's see. Okay, I've got that. I can't remember what is in all of this, to be honest. I just wanted to use them as, use it as an example. So if you are okay with this, I just say okay, and I bring it in. And it comes in as well. So I just keep bringing all these in. And that is with the assumption that I need them, But the aim of doing that was just to show us this is how to bring in a folder. What we did with that folder was we went on a new source. We clicked more because folder was not part of that, of the options we had. And then I had folder, I connected, and I went on to get the folder path to copy it, and I pasted it here, okayed it, and brought it in. That is how to bring in a folder. We've brought in just an Excel file. We've brought in a folder, and now I think we should do an SQL for those who, because we'll be working with different things. Who knows, So let's see how to bring in an SQL server. For an SQL server database, it's asking me for the server, which means I must know what server I'm using. Database, this is optional. And it's also showing us data connectivity, the types of connectivity that we have in SQL. We've got the import, which brings in the data the way we have seen it so far. And we've got the direct query, which is different. I've not used this before. It's not common, but I hear that it just brings in the headers. It's more of, it's like it brought in something that is virtual, to be honest. That's what I've heard of the direct query. Import is exactly what we have been doing so far. We've been importing data from elsewhere. But how do I get this server name? Thank God I've got an SQL server, SQL Management Studio on this laptop. So I'm just going to quickly open it to copy the server name. Some people will know it by heart and just, type it there. But I need to go copy mine. Okay, so on the SQL Server, we've got server type, and then we've got server name. This is what I need. I'm just going to copy that, and then I don't need this anymore. Just making sure that thing is still showing. Okay, we can still all see, thank God. So I'm just going to paste that here, Control V that. And I need import query. Let's quickly look at the advanced options here. because they are important. If there's a SQL statement that you want to put here from the SQL Server, I mean, those who are really versed with SQL Server, that can be done here, you know. Of everything down here, include relationship columns is the most important. Remember that we saw something in the Power BI itself. Don't know if we, yeah, this, oh, it's not letting me. Yeah, okay, no, okay. So which helps to form a relationship between our tables. So it's good to include that. That's why it's important to check include relationship columns, and we can okay that. Let's see what it brings. Now, these are the tables that I've got on that SQL. Do I want to see Debbie International? It says no items. Okay, what does that mean? No item selected for preview. I'm selecting this. Okay. So I'm selecting this under the Northwind, which is what we have seen previously in Excel format. It's also in this SQL. Okay. Now I can see alphabetical list of products. If I need that, I'll just check it and bring it in. Order query, if I need this, you know, I'll just, so I can just check and bring in as many as possible from whichever of the databases, tables rather, that I've got here, you know, whatever it is that I feel is necessary for my report, I just click all of this under Northwind. If I wanted from employee, I just click down that department. If I want department, I bring it in. If I want employee, I bring, if they are relevant to what I'm doing, I can bring those in as well. And let's see, I click OK. Let's OK that, and let's see what happens. Everything has now been brought into my Power Query. So we've seen how to bring in Excel workbooks, how to bring in data from SQL Server. We've seen how to bring in a folder. How about we look at how to bring in something from the web? Yes, let's click on the web. It's asking for the URL. So now I'm even afraid to come off here before it starts on sharing again. But what all we need for here is we go and copy the URL of whichever website, web page that we want to bring in. Maybe we are working on a population data, and the population column we've got on our Excel, or whatever it is, has been put there maybe about 5 years ago. So we need a more current one. The best we can do is go search for world population data and click on the page where we find that, where we find the tables. And we just come here and copy and paste the URL of that page. We OK it, and it can bring it in so that we can use it to update our data. You know, let me try. I don't want to be, this thing should not be making me afraid to come off it. Let me try and see if I can stay on here. Can you not hide this for us? Okay. World population. Just so that we can demonstrate it and not just talk about it. World population by country. Okay. This looks a little okay to bring in. I've got this. So what I'm going to do, I need this table, and it says what on the countries in the world by population. And all I will need from here would be the country and the population. But I can't just take those two from here. But I can copy that and come back to my Power Query and paste that in. Okay, so let's see what it brings. Here we go. So anonymous. Now, if I was doing this on a company's profile, I'll be using their Power BI desktop service and all of that. It won't let me go anonymous. I must put my credentials. So I will click on organizational account at least, you know, but I'll use these for now. But I just wanted to point out that everything here is important. Use it according to, as it is required, you know, for the purpose for which it is required. So let's connect that and let's see what happens. So we wait as it's making that connection. Okay, here we go. So let's have a look at everything here and see what we really need. Okay, I think this is what we need. So I've got this hash column here, probably the ID or the number, just number one on the list is China and all of that. I've got population. Every other thing is not relevant to my report. I just need those first two, those this second and third. But I'm just going to check that. I mean, just for curiosity purpose, we can look at what this is about. It's not very different. So I'll just stick to bringing just this one in. Let's okay that. And here we go. It's brought it in as table 1. I don't want that to be seen as table 1. I can just come here and change that world population or just population. So population. So that has been changed to population for me. Okay, now remember how I said we just need 1, 2, these 2 and 3 rather. We don't need any other one. Okay, how do we take the rest off without wasting time? I'm just gonna click on these 2. While I press Control, I'll click on, so I've picked these 2. Then I'll right click and I'll say remove other columns. If I say remove columns, it will remove those 2, but I need them. I don't want them removed. So remove other columns. And here we go. So this can easily come into my report and I can update with the new, well, that's a 2020 population. I wish it was 2023, but I mean, again, that's why it's necessary to check well. Maybe if one had checked from the source, so I'd let them go back to the source, you know, okay, this was where we got it from. Again, that's how to go back and see the history of a data, you know, and from the source, look at what it looks like. It looks all jam-packed and all coded up. Not understandable easily for someone like me at all, you know, but let's cancel that. This is what I want to see. Okay, so this was where it extracted the table from. Okay. Okay, that is fine. Promoted the headers. Okay, that is fine. Change type, removed, and the last step we did was remove the other columns. What I wanted to really do was to go back to the step where we picked the table from and try to see if we could have changed the table to, if there was a 2021 or 2022, which are more recent, you know, and change that. And that is very, very doable as well. So we've checked how to bring in data from Excel, from a SQL Server engine. We didn't check for CSV, but it's very similar to workbook. So if I had clicked on, okay, my file is comma separated, so it's telling me that most of the ones here, all of the ones here actually are. So I just bring it in like just the way I brought in Excel. So those two are very, very alike, in the way that they are. So I bring that in. Never mind, I'm just packing everything in. Don't worry about the fact that I just brought in too many different things. I just wanted us to see how to bring in from various, various sources, because it's really very important. It's the foundation of everything. When you know how to get your data in, then the rest, will fall in place. So Excel workbook has been done, SQL has been done, comma separated file has been done, web has been done, and we did the folder when we clicked on more, and we went to folder to connect, and then we copied our folder part, and we brought it in. And I would say this is going to be the end of most of what we share about Power BI today, which we haven't even, like I always say, scratched the surface of it at all. It's really early days. And I will send in, for the ones that are available that I can't send you SQL if you don't have SQL engine on your own machine. But for the ones that you can, please let's practice. Let's try and play around, especially with Power Query Editor. As much as it's useful in Power BI, it's also useful in Excel. If you get it right very well in one, it's so easy to quickly pick it up in the other tool. So I'll say at this point, let's ask our questions. And thank you so much for listening. I've just been talking on and on and on. I've not been too boring. Let's unmute and ask our questions. Thank you. People, let's unmute and ask questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Debbie, for that section. It was really a great one. So yeah, let's be welcome question. I don't have question at this time. So if I have any, maybe later in the day, I'll let you know. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Citi. Has anyone tried to go download their desktop, Power BI desktop at all for practice? It's a great tool to have on your laptop. If you haven't, click on that link and get yours. But yeah, use the link. Mr. Folayemi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Must you use the work ID or the work emails to log in?
No, for Power BI desktop, you can use any email. But for the other ones, you would need a work one. And I'll let you know how to even bypass that, to be honest. Because I've got the Power BI service and all of that. And I created a kind of email that looks like a work email.
I guess that's if you download the app. The app.
Say again, sir?
If you download the app straight from the App Store.
You can check. It could be possible. The only way I've done it, the only way I've ever done it is through this Power BI.Microsoft. But I believe it should be doable on. But if you get it from using your mobile, you'll be getting the mobile one though. The Power BI mobile is what you'll be getting. And for that one, you will need, like I said, what looks like a work email, which we can, quickly learn how to make our own and use. It's a Microsoft one. So you just need to go on Microsoft. You just buy like your email, but it's someone that Power BI would recognize as work email. It will tell you that it's paid monthly, but you have free trial, so you can cancel before a certain time. So you do it straight away, then cancel, but use it for your own Power BI. You don't have to cancel immediately, you know. So, but by the time you cancel it, Power BI still recognizes it as your email. So but you would already have your Power BI service and whatever it is that you want to be working with on your own. And you don't have to pay for that one anymore. I hope that is said off record. No, it isn't, so I'll edit it out. But yeah, yeah, I'll look for how I did it and send it through. Any other question? I mean.
Okay, thank you very much, Deborah, for this section.
You're welcome.
So, like you did say the other time, it is just the introductory aspect of it.
Yeah.
So I've concluded to be having this on weekly basis as we are having it now, or what's the way forward?
Yes, we are going to be having it weekly. I've mapped out a plan. So today we just focused more on how to get data from various sources, but we touched on a few other things. So for each class, whatever, we'll focus on one main thing, but we will touch on different other aspects. That way we are reminded of how to do, like when we come on next Saturday, we are still going to be reminded of how to get data, because we'll get data again. And then we'll move on to the next phase, which is how to transform it, which is the major part, in my own view. Transform it into what the business. So we will have a business requirement that we want to work with, and then we'll transform according to that business requirement. And we will all have access to whatever file that is used within the class as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're
I believe
welcome,
if we go over to watching this video, this record, then there will be questions during our next class.
Okay.
So from there we navigate through and we get it better. Thank you so much for.
You're welcome, sir. I really love that suggestion. Yes. As we watch and even watch many other learning videos, we can always come to class with questions, with observations, and learn off each other, to be honest.
Yes, mine is not question, but just to commend you for taking your time to pass this knowledge across to us.
Thank you, sir.
It's very valuable, and let me be honest with you, Power BI is one of the greatest tool or whatever you can have, because no matter how good your data is, if you can't use it to pass information on just a page to your stakeholders, is useless.
Yeah.
Even your deliverables at work, your ability to transform them so that people can visualize them and make decisions, is going to give you an edge over your colleagues or peers at work. And for you to do this for us and to continue to do it for us, I commend you and I thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
And
we can't
wait to learn more. But for us, and I think the attendance is also encouraging. Like the last speaker said, you might not get it at once. Just take your time. Even me, I'll still do that to review. It's just less than 1 hour video. Review it, pause it, try it, come back next week, and we'll have questions for you. But please, let's get it going. It's going to help us a lot. And thanks once again for your time.
It's an honor, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate the honor.
Hi, Debbie.
Hello, Babatunde.
Yeah, I joined a bit late, but I can tell you that when I saw the information today, I was really, really happy. The word we heard now, nobody has time to read a lot of documents. One place should just tell us what we want to do and let us take the decision. And like everybody said, really, this is something that is a knowledge that we can't try to skip. It's the knowledge we need in this world right now. And with everything we are doing on, even as Scrum Master, business analyst, this is very, very important, even to make reports and to give stakeholders information to make decisions.
Yeah.
So I think really, the little I saw, I have a bit of idea of Power BI, and I can tell you that you even went further than what I used to do. So this is for the little minute I joined, and I will also watch the video, and I will encourage everybody to please practice on their own. Power BI is not something you can just use your eye and go. You have to practice and get used to it. And once you know it, it becomes yours, and you are super at it. So thank you so much, Debbie, for taking this time. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's an honor. You know, as it's taught, as one teaches, you are learning and learning as well. I've not gotten data from a few sources that we checked today, and I had to go back and quickly refresh my memory how some of them are done, because I've not used those for in a while. So it's an opportunity to keep improving as well. So, which I appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie, for today's section. It's really, really interesting, and you made it very simple for us to understand. I just want to ask, is there any relationship with the SQL and Power BI? Does it interwoven? As what do we need SQL for in Power BI? I just need a clarification there.
They can't be related. The way we have used it today was we use it as a data source. So it's where some companies will have their data in a SQL Server database. And that is where we have to be getting it from. So Power BI has got relationship with many data sources, and SQL is one of them. A good knowledge or a fair knowledge of SQL just makes your Power BI even takes it to another level. So if you're just able to write those simple scripts, select statements or create view or anything like that, it just gives you that little more top-notch knowledge or a bit of an edge more to even enjoy your Power BI experience more. But if SQL is not a data source in any way for you, then it's not like they are related normally. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Actually, SQL is part of the data, whatever that I need to work with. So
yeah,
it's okay. It's fine. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, if we have no more questions, I'll say we call it a day. Let's enjoy the rest of the evening, and we'll expect the video and data sources that we can use to practice to follow shortly.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate your presence. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Have a
Thank
lovely
you, everyone.
weekend.
And you too.
Debbie.
Thank you. Thank you
God
very
bless
much.
you for the knowledge you're sharing.
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a lovely, lovely weekend.
And you too.
And you too. Thanks very much, Debbie.
Bye. Thank you.
Between D and A and C,
Thanks, Debbie.
which one do you
Thank
think
you.
is the most effective? Because